Sometimes you just gotta go bar down.
Kirill, top titty 2x4 to end the game. That was nice.
Bardown Beauties.
That's the sexy part of the game, is it not? The plays and the goals and the...
Yeah, that's what you guys like. I mean, it is great.
And now, a new episode of Bardown Beauties with Jesse Pierce and Kirsten Kroll. In need of custom merch, SotaStick has you covered. That's right. Whether it's jerseys, tees, hats, you can go to SotaStick.com with your need for custom merch and they can get it done. Hey, and while you're there, you might as well peruse, shop. They've got fleece, they've got hoodies, they've got mugs, they've got socks, and of course, your favorite tees and hats, all custom by SotaStick. They're our favorite here at Bardown Beauties. They're the Minnesota Wild's favorite with their collabs. You've got P-Dub collabs, you've got Dinkytown collabs, basically anything you need or want here to represent your state, your sports, SotaStick has. Don't forget to smash Bardown Beauties at checkout for 15% off all purchases at SotaStick.com. Hello, everybody. What's up? Bardown Beauties, episode something, because I honestly don't know, because it's still summertime. She's Kirsten Kroll. I'm Jesse Pierce, back with another new episode of Bardown. How we doing, Kirsten? We're
good.
like halfway through July, which is kind of wild.
We're more than halfway.
More than halfway.
We're more than halfway, and I'm excited. We're getting towards my favorite time of the year. I love late summer, early fall. That is where I'm just at my happiest without even trying. Like, I don't even have to pretend. So I'll be doing all of the things. Aside from that, I'm just really hungry right now. I haven't eaten yet today. I haven't even had coffee yet today. So the fact that like this is me right now without coffee, I'm shocked. Like normally I'm just grumpy as can be.
No.
No, never. So I don't know. I had my 6:30 a.m. workout class this morning. So maybe I'm just running off of like natural energy, which is what, doctors and things advise you to do to begin with.
And can we give a shout out for the early morning workouts? I feel like you're now committed to the early morning because it feels good, right? Like I know I go a little egregiously early, but that's because I got to get the kids out the door, right? But then it's done. Like give me 5 a.m., give me 5:30 a.m. at the gym, and then I'm done with it for the day. And I'm awake. I'm kind of feeling a little bit better about myself. Early mornings, baby.
Yeah. Also, anyone that is watching the video format of this, they saw me kind of just punch myself in the face on accident there. But no, I've always loved early morning workouts. It's just been a matter of like balancing it when you work super late nights and like not emotionally draining. That's not the right word, but like you run on adrenaline. So you're like extra exhausted from working nights. So then therefore trying to get up early the next day. So finding a way to work it into your schedule has been great. But yeah, I've always loved the morning workouts. But yeah, early morning is so much better.
And there's just less people. For me, that's everything.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to worry about getting on my treadmill or grabbing my weights or having my bench. I'm guaranteed it. Plus we have a little community now. Like we give each other the acknowledgments like, hey, you're here every morning too, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you, like I do think it's because we're getting older. Like you are also getting older. Congratulations now. Because I feel like I look at the young players on the Minnesota Wild and I'm not picturing a Brock Faber or a Matt Boldy getting up early to go work out.
No, I feel like they would.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
I
early?
do. Yeah, I would say so.
Maybe.
Honestly, it's all about your circadian rhythm. It's what you set your internal clock to, how your body functions. Like I physically can no longer sleep in past 7:30 a.m. I can't.
Right.
Like I'm up out of bed. Like I can't fall back asleep even if I tried. If it's a Saturday, I don't have to be at work. I'm just so used to it now. Like that's where we're at. So yeah.
I agree with that. I've always been, it could never be 8 o'clock was kind of my cutoff. And I'm trying though to like embrace sleeping more because for far too long I have been functioning off of just 6 hours of sleep. Like 6 hours is all I need, which sounds terrible. No, I don't know how I do either, but I would like to change that. I'd like to revisit that part of my body and be like, we could sleep a little more. We don't have babies anymore. The kids, like the kids will not sleep in until 7:30, 8 o'clock, which is very late for them, all things considered. So, but it's not later. It's kind of early. I'm trying to figure out this transition. Hold on, just give me a moment. The schedule release. We're early on a good schedule release. We got the schedule for the Minnesota Wild. First things first, all the teams now jumping on the NFL bandwagon, it seems, and kind of doing their own variations and iterations of videos and having fun. The Minnesota Wild went with the Rage Room, which I don't know, Kirsten. You said you liked it. I'm kind of 50-50 on it. It wasn't like it was bad. I just don't know that it was as creative as it could have been.
I really liked it. I mean, I didn't see all of the ones from around the league. I mean, granted, there were teams that literally just released a graphic.
Yes, that's
like
true.
no bells or whistles to it. They just did a graphic and called it a day. The only other one that I had seen that really stood out to me, and it was very simple, but it was funny, was what the Buffalo Sabres did with like the little drummies.
Yes.
And I think it was like a 2-for-1 graphic for their opponents. And it was for the New Jersey Devils and the Vancouver Canucks. And for the Devils, it was the Hughes brothers. And then they had like a blue wing, and it was over on the other side, and it said, "Wherefore art thou, brother?"
Oh, see, I missed
Quinn
it.
Hughes.
I suppose I only looked at theirs when they did like kind of the teaser of it. And my favorite one, which it's a gimme and it's a layup, but it was Toronto choking hazard on the chicken wing, which I was like, that's really good.
I mean, you have to. Oh, Nashville had a really good one. But for other people, like if you don't know like country artists and stuff, because they had a lot of
did they?
star power to theirs. And it was a little bit more of a skit. It was really cool. Like they had Lainey Wilson, Dustin Lynch. They had some big celebrities in Nashville do theirs.
I kind of like to. Did you see Columbus's? So Columbus, like the Minnesota Wild, is celebrating 25 years. So they went back to what was popular back in October 2000 when they debuted, and kind of did a Jackass skit, and even Dean Evson's getting in on it. Like it was very clever. Like I wouldn't have thought. I just thought I like the very out of the box thing. You know, that's what I'm saying. I didn't dislike the Wilds. I just didn't think it was over the top creative. Like I thought that one was also super fun.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess I don't know. I don't know what else I would have done for the Wild, because they kind of do their little not weird wild things all throughout the season.
Right. And again, the Rage Room, it was fun. It was cute. It was clever. It had its cleverness when it put the opponents on there and whatnot. Yeah, in general, I love that the NHL is starting to embrace and adopt a little bit of humor. We're going to get to Cues with Abuse, but since we're talking schedule, there was one question in regard to the Minnesota Wild schedule that I wanted to pull up from Joe Boo, Phil S., wrong one. As you've done a deeper dive on the schedule, what stretch of games scare you and excite you?
I guess I'm going to be so honest here. I was not looking at this schedule as far as like opponents when it came out, besides the home opener. A little surprised, not surprised that it's Columbus 2 years in a row, but I was not taking in the schedule like most fans, to where they're like, oh yeah, this is going to be a tough stretch. We're playing a good amount of good teams. I'm like, when am I working?
Yeah, no, 100%.
What does my schedule look like?
I looked at immediately at when the home games are, what the longest home stand is, which there's not anything like there was this year, right? Like you don't have the 9 game. I think I saw 6 game is the longest.
I think November is 9 games,
but it starts in October, right? End of
there's
October.
8 games in October, 9 November, 8 December. I think it's a lot. The later season gets a little less, but yeah, there's not like an 11 game March.
Right. I mean, looking ahead, a lot of back-to-backs, which there are other teams that have a ton of back-to-backs too. But it just seems kind of crazy the amount that 14 back-to-backs for the Minnesota Wild. So that in and of itself worries me. If only for we still are TBD on what Jesper Wallsted's going to look like this year, right? Again, all the confidence heading in. He is your number 2 for sure. Philip Gustafsson's going to carry the bulk of the load. But if Jesper struggles and you have 14 back-to-backs, that worries me a little bit, Kirsten.
Yeah, that worries me as well. Like that. I'm concerned just because there's a lot of unknowns heading into the new year.
Yeah. And they've got some really kind of crazy setups. I'm trying to look quick. I like you, Kirsten, when I get the schedule, I look at the homestands, and that's about the extent of it. I do love the amount of like Friday, Saturday games this year. I feel like there's not as many like early weeks. Like it's definitely a ton of weekend games, especially at home. So fans should love that. But looking at it, the Canada trip is going to be tough. That's in December. It'll also be interesting because you have that Olympic break this year.
Yeah.
So It's a lot
Only
of time.
one game total
Yeah,
in February.
right. Which lucky for me and you too, because I'm sure you'll be involved in some, is World Juniors is here in December as well. So we get to reap a little bit of the benefits there. Get a little hockey in St. Paul. Summer Showcase coming up starting this weekend at Ritter, heading into next week. Just an FYI if you're needing your taste of prospect hockey. But that also being said, so that's your schedule release. You're going to also get this year, Kirsten, your 25th anniversary sweater, and they will get to wear it 4 times. Are you excited? What's your vision? What would you do if you were going 25 years? Now, remember when the Wild debuted, it was that white uni. It's a white with a, I believe she's going to go, for those watching, Kirsten's excusing herself. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to tell you guys that or not, but I feel like she's probably going to go get the jersey of her dreams. The Wild, when they debuted, it's the white with the bear head, man, bear, pig logo on front. There was gold in it. I didn't love them. I don't love that version. I don't love the red ones even more. Like the red to me with the circle is the one I actually despise the most. Now that's not again from the early years, but it was pretty early on that you had the red options. Oh, there it is.
This is my dream version. This is all I want.
Okay.
This, the bear claw, the lettering, like this is what I want.
Who's on the back of it?
Gabrick.
I should have guessed I saw number 10. That should have been my immediate.
Like, look at the bear markings. Like, we need to adopt that again.
That's
this
true.
whole thing is perfection. I love that is all I want.
I feel, and it's simple in its own right. You know, like you had mentioned, you've got the font is a little bit more wild and yeah.
Give me all the vintage in year 25. All the vintage. Okay. Which is weird to say 2000 is vintage, but it kind of is.
I just vomited in my mouth.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Give it all to me.
When Nelly is announced at the State Fair, you know you're old because like that's the era of my music. Like State Fair artists, it's reserved for people that are past their prime. It's
don't disagree, but don't necessarily agree. Like Old Dominion's gonna be there this summer. I do plan on going.
Yeah.
Country band.
I know who Old Dominion is. They got a couple songs, a couple jams that I've heard of.
Blake Shelton was great last summer.
That's true.
There was a lot of elders.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. Blake Shelton goes back to the 90s for crying out loud. Like he has, there's 2 different versions of Blake Shelton. I don't know if people realize that, right? Like you had your old red version.
And Austin. I love 90s country.
Right. So like Blake Shelton was not nearly to the popularity he is now, but in a different way he was. Like Austin and Old Red, and even what's the other one? In a left will take you to the interstate.
That's Billy Currington.
Is that Billy Currington? That is
Yes.
Billy Currington. Okay. Anyway, I digress. Shout out Nelly, who I saw at the Twins game though. That was pretty fun. One of my favorite moments, actually one of my favorite moments was seeing OAR for the umpteenth time this past weekend, and then seeing Motion City Soundtrack, another band that I grew up on as a young child, and I'm like, God, I'm old. Like this is happening. Anyway, we're going to talk about our favorite moments in hockey this year, Kirsten. I wanted to circle back since we have the new schedule release out, all of that good stuff. What are some of your favorite moments from this season?
Ooh. I am trying to travel back in time mentally right now because all things considered, you know what? No, not even playoffs, making a return to the playoffs. Like, okay, that's my probably highlight. It truly is so much fun working Stanley Cup playoffs. There's a different energy. It is amazing. Other thing I would say probably was just surviving March. March was nuts. Yeah. Not Wild related, seeing the Frost win their second back-to-back championship. That was
counts.
Amazing too.
We'll count
being a small part of that. So those are probably my top 3 that I would say. Very vague, except for the Frost one.
Yeah. No, I think that's very valid points too. And surviving March was absolutely tremendous. I'm going to go back. I'm going to take us back, Kirsten. Come with me. Come with me on the journey back to October 15th to be exact. when Philip Gustafson scored a goalie goal. I mean,
Oh,
that has to
yeah.
be just so incredible. I still feel so bad that Marc-Andre Fleury did not accomplish this feat of his own, but pretty hell of a shot. Like, again, I need to try that. We're gonna have to work on getting that content because I need to see if I could do that because it seems incredibly hard to get the right loft and the speed and all of that in order to score. But Philip Gustafson, that was my number one moment. My number two moment is going to be April 9th, 2025, Minnesota Wild versus San Jose Sharks. Macklin Celebrini, a bunch of young kids. Should have been a gimme game. And while it wasn't, and while the score itself could have been frustrating, an 8-7 victory against the lowly Sharks, you got 4 goals from Joel Eriksson, who had returned after a number of games with injury. Kirill Kaprizov scores twice, including the overtime winner. Just a fun game to have covered. Also hate it because, again, 15, what is that? 15 goals scored?
that was a late night.
It was a late night.
I was
long
annoyed
night.
by how late it was.
But the excitement, like from a fan's perspective, I was glad they got to see that. And again, it gives me a little bit of excitement to watch teams like the San Jose Sharks start to come into their own because they're going to be a ton of fun to watch with all those young kids out there. So yeah, and then my final one, April 16th, 2025, the final regular season home game where Marc-Andre Fleury gets his flowers, pun intended, being able to slot in to that overtime because they had clinched a spot in the playoffs, and he gets to kind of have this final hurrah. He gets the victory in addition. Another shout out to Philip Gustafson for thinking of that, but that was just so beautiful. Not only did you know you were going to the playoffs, but Marc-Andre Fleury gets a final moment at home.
It's poetic.
It is. That's all we can ask for. Let me know your favorite moments. Let me know what we missed. There's been a ton, I'm sure, this season. Let's dive into some questions, though. Kirsten, we already asked one. You guys had some really good ones this year, so shout out, or this week, excuse me. This year too, as well. I know. Josh wants to know if you had to sum up Billy's time here, has he made more good moves or more bad moves?
I would say slightly more good moves. I think recency bias argues I don't understand. I don't think Trenyan has added a lot outside of what we saw from him in the postseason, but that's still an early sample size. He has made moves that I've loved, such as the Declan Chisholm waiver pickup. I thought that was great. I thought the buyouts were fantastic. That was a ballsy thing that we have talked about, but just to do that right from the get-go was awesome. I don't know, but some questionable moves for sure, which any GM does have, but overall, I'd say more good than bad.
I think so too. Like, I know people can get frustrated at certain things, and yes, we all know my feelings on Trenyan or even some of the players that he has acquired, Gus Nyquist, bringing, Marcus Johansson back into the folder, or even some of the contracts that he's established. But still, I hate to ever negate the things that we were all so excited about, right? Even the buyout situation, I think, was a great move. I still stand by that. I think bringing Marc-Andre Fleury into the fold, getting Brock Faber locked up, and not only just the trade in general, when Kevin Fiala was going to walk, like you weren't going to keep him. So for them to get Brock Faber back is great. Getting Matt Boldy signed to the contract that he has. Jake Middleton has turned out to be a really good asset, right? Like, yes, it's not to say it's all been great, and this isn't me ass kissing Bill Guerin at all, because there certainly have been his mistakes, as he's mentioned, but I think when you put him in the weights, like, he's done more good than bad. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, once you really list out all of the attributes that we still have, it's like, yeah, he's done a really good job.
Yeah, like I think people are too quick. Like, it's an emotional roller coaster in sports, right? And we're too quick to be basing it off of the most recency bias. Like, he's done some good stuff prior to that.
Yeah,
so.
I was guilty of that. I was a little clouded by recency bias.
It happens.
But Joe Boo, he wants to know, does Eve have a shot at the Calder?
Defensemen are hard, right? Now, the past couple years, that hasn't necessarily been the case. You've had players, Moritz Seider from the Detroit Red Wings, right? Like, it's not unheard of. But we talked about it with Brock Faber, and Brock Faber wasn't able to get over that hump. He was going up against Connor Bedard, and Zeev is going up against Ivan Demidov in Montreal, who was incredible to watch. Like, all the excitement around him for the Habs is well worth it. So, no, but I don't think that's a bad thing. All right. It's not a problem. Like, there's one guy that gets to win it as a rookie. And I think Zeev, while he's a much more offensive defenseman, so that does help, I think, when you look at the qualifications, it's still not the goal scoring sexiness that people like. So that's the rookie that they're going to go for. So in my opinion, no, but it doesn't bother me that he doesn't.
Yeah. Right. No notes.
No notes. Okay. Tony S wants to know how screwed will the Wild be if Rossi holds out? 60 points up the middle will be very difficult to replace with this roster, and nobody is giving up a 60-point guy for picks. The haters will tell you we'll be fine with an aged Hartman and an unproven Yurov. What say you?
It ain't good. Won't be good if it happens. I don't know. I think the market this summer has kind of spoken for itself. I think the precedent's been set with what other players have been paid after they've been signed. I don't really know where things are at right now. I just know that there has been no agreement and seemingly no public buzz from other teams.
I saw somebody propose, God, who was it? I think it was Montreal. Like maybe Montreal makes trade because there are teams, again, as we've talked about, so I'm not going to keep beating the dead horse. Billy's just put himself in a tough position where teams are going to lowball him because they can, or they're going to try. And again, Billy doesn't have to trade him. Now, will Marco Rossi hold out? Probably. The way that this is trending, and if there's not an agreement made, probably going to hold out. I don't think he plays. Maybe he does, but I think from his perspective, he's looking out for him. Billy's looking out for the team. It sucks. They put themselves into this position, but here we are. So I would love to get a haul back for Rossi. I just don't think it's not there. So it would, yeah. Let's say it's not going to be fine. It's not, I mean,
It ain't
it'll
gonna be
hurt.
good.
It's not going to be good. Yeah. Bottom line.
Austin C. And we've got about 2 minutes left. So we'll crank this out. Do you think Kaprizov can replicate the production from last year and win the Hart Trophy this season? And do you think Faber has another level to his game that he unlocks this season?
That was impressive. Goddamn.
I know, right?
So good. I do think Kaprizov can replicate. I think the reason I'm optimistic about that is because of how good he did look coming back from the injury. He's going to have all offseason to continue to work. I don't think it's a situation where he's coming in still hurt or still having this lingering thing. Yes, it's a concerning injury that will this be aggravated at any point, but I think he's okay. I think he went into the offseason healthy, feeling fine, and I think he's hungry to get the Wild to that next place, especially if this contract extension of his gets re-signed, which I know Alicia S wants to know, what date do we think? I think it happens before camp, but it's probably like 2 weeks before camp. I don't think there's any cause for concern, but I think if that extension gets signed, Kaprizov is a good enough guy that he's definitely going to be even more hungry to reproduce what he was doing last year. Brock Faber, definitely another level. He's just another year older, another year mature. I'm excited to see Brock continue on the upward trajectory.
Yes. Beautifully done.
I know. Final one for you. Name a good hockey day spot to go to next that isn't a rink or a field. Would Como Zoo be an option?
Rochester, Minnesota sounds pretty great. Underneath the Corn Cob Water Tower. See myself out.
Damn it. I'd like to do another river. I'd like to do a river version. And that's what we're going to do. More great questions. We'll try to get to those again. We're on a time limit of Zoom here. That's the whole real reason. So it happens. That's such life. Shout out to all you guys. Shout out to SotaStick. No episode next week, but we will be back the following week. And yeah, continue to enjoy your summer. We'll catch you later. Bye.